Yeah. Hi, I'm Rafael Rivera.
And I'm Nick Snow.
And I don't know what we're going to do today.
We've been absent for a while.
We've been absent for a while, and there's a reason why.
We tried. In a lot of ways, we tried.
So shall we just cut to the chase and just review the season? I mean, you want to just do the finale? You just want to think about just let's just get right into it.
Maybe run through the finale and then overall feelings, thoughts, etc.
I don't even remember what happened. It was all a blur. I just all I have to say is I'm very disappointed. I think it could have been a little bit better, and for me, I think they lost me when they started time jumping. I think they worked really well on developing these characters, even though it was the longest night in terror, like 4 or 5 episodes to get to dawn.
It was, but you look at most of like the Friday the 13th movies and it's like a night,
So that's in 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, I guess they were kind of trying to stick with that theme for maybe the first like 2/3 of the season or so.
Uh-huh.
But I agree, once they kind of apprehended Brooke and we find out that Margaret got away a second time, it was like, after that, we were time jumping, we were cross-country jumping. It was tough. It was tough from there. Yeah.
I thought it was very tough. I think, I'm trying to remember, where did we start off with?
Like all the way back at the beginning?
No.
The finale.
Yeah. Where we were.
So Jingles had been reunited with his family.
Right. He
So
was
they were
apprehended by the other ghosts.
Yeah.
And then he
But
was
then
reunited.
he killed.
No, sorry. Wrong. This is why we're done. So it's Bobby Jingles shows up on camp. That's what it was.
Oh, the frickin' Jason Voorhees. Some say homage, others would say rip straight from the script.
Yeah.
We'll let you decide which side of that argument you're on, but so that brought him with his family into the sunny place.
Mm-hmm.
And
which we thought that would be done. The curse is lifted. That apparently what Jingles said when he got apprehended by all the other ghosts, that put a blood on a blood stain. His mom's actions by murdering all of the campers is what started the curse of the campground, of ghosts being trapped there. He literally said that. I watched it again.
So I guess I go back and forth on why there were no like 1948 ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
But so did the curse start when he killed his mom? Or did the curse start when she started killing? Because if it started when he killed her, then everyone that died previously at her hands wouldn't have been a ghost. And so I'm okay with it. But if the curse started when her son died and she started killing, all those 1948 people should have been ghosts as well.
That's a very good point.
So like, I've seen it both ways online. If you want to make the argument it started when he killed her, then fine. One less plot hole to poke at, I guess.
And the other thing is that obviously there was a limitation with the perimeter of the property. So if you were killed off of it, you won't be able to stay. Kind of like Murder House. It was like ripped off of Murder House. You have to die within the house to stay a ghost. So,
but it obviously extended some way because Jonas,
yes, exactly,
is wandering that road.
I just don't get it.
Meanwhile, they're like chopping Margaret. They're chopping Margaret to bits right on the borderline.
And a wood chipper.
And
she's still
spinning her across.
She still made it.
I mean, at that point, I was just like, okay, fine.
I checked out when I saw the wood chipper and the fact that they were tearing her into pieces and putting it in there like it was an old Little Rascals episode and they're making a cake with minced hairbrush. Let's make it a surprise cake. And I just what is going on here?
I mean, she was pretty great as like a limbless body. Then, like even then, I'm like, okay, she's still stealing these scenes.
So my biggest beef is that we didn't get the Woodstock scene that she was building up to that point. I wanted to see Evan Peters play Billy Idol. That would have been everything.
Oh my god, that would have been so good. That wouldn't have saved it totally, but
it would have been cool to see Evan Peters make a cameo and see some of these other legends that have kind of weaned off the series this season. I am proud of Leslie Grossman's performance. I'm proud of Emma Roberts, kind of both of them taking the lead for a bit. It was seemed like Gun Ho, Emma Roberts' character was the main focus, the main protagonist, but then she got shelved the last 3 episodes. So I was just like,
yeah, I mean,
it was weird.
I'm back and forth on that too, because you obviously got a fair amount of closure. She kind of has this normal life. She seems happy. But it did kind of like land with a little bit of a thud. Like, all this happened.
So,
and it was just like, yeah.
And she's with a dermatologist, and our friend Dee Dee, that Black Don't Crack, was like, yeah, you look really young. What's going on? She's got little laugh lines here and stuff. And I was just like, my theory with, so some people out there think that Brooke is like a Ramirez in a way, that she was revived by the devil, because it's like, come on, girl, you gotta have been dead by that last attack that she got at the campground. And
yeah, I mean,
or I was thinking, this is what I was thinking. I was like, was it because she got mouth to mouth by Ray and revived, that some of a spiritual force kind of keeps her a little bit more youthful? She did have a little bit of aging, but not as much as Dee Dee. Like, it looked like they did like let's pretend to make her a little aged, but maybe she had work done.
because it was what, 20 years? 89, right?
Yeah.
And then they went to present day, so.
I was hoping that she would be the parent for Mallory, which would be a tie-in to Coven, because they never explained Mallory's parentage.
Right.
But that was.
So that's another thing. Were there any blatant tie-ins to other seasons?
No, you clocked it. Was her purchase to the asylum. That's it. That was the
Yeah,
only tie-in.
and that was just like a throw-in.
It
Like,
was just a throw-in. There wasn't no real tie-in otherwise.
So that's, and I'm personally like, I don't really need the tie-ins. That's not huge for me.
No, and it's supposed to be
But,
an anthology,
right.
But they do like to connect them.
When you do it almost every other season, it just seems like that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a miss or if it was intentional, or I don't know if next season's going to tie back into this season, if this one's just going to be a standalone. I don't know. I think this one we just were left with so many questions.
Yeah.
A little bit unsettling.
No. I did like how they showed Brooke and Montana just kind of burying the hatchet, no pun intended, where she helped Trevor cross back, which, by the way, Margaret was nasty by shooting him in the ylang tree.
Well, I mean, that was pretty much all we knew about him, so.
It was all hearsay. We still never got to
This is
see
all
it.
hearsay. Well, this isn't on HBO, so.
We're still waiting for a little
If you want
flash
to
of.
see, if you want to see that, check out Euphoria, HBO.
But she went and did him wrong and shot him in the goods and left him to die. And Montana is like, oh my God, come, you can make it. And Brooke shows up, and it was like almost like a Mean Girl moment. Like, Brooke was like just watching it struggle a little bit.
Like, he's gonna die right here. It's tragic.
Yeah, I guess I have to help. I don't have to help you.
No.
It was a cool moment, though. I did appreciate that moment for closure.
Right.
For
That's
them
what.
too.
Yeah, I do feel like we got some closure this season, and with Brooke, you probably got the most.
Right.
Other I don't know. Just like the curse. Like, what? We don't know how it started. It didn't end.
No.
Like,
Like, because there was this weird happy family ending with the family
Right.
at the end waiting. I'm like, what the WTF with that?
And like, all Lavinia needed to do was like go into the middle of the lake, and Bobby would have.
Right, 'cause she said
surfaced.
she searched for him.
She's been there all that time. That's all she needed to do. She didn't think, oh, let me go
Let's
to
take
where
off
my
this-
son actually died.
Let me take off this Joan Crawford bathrobe.
Let me just go quick little skinny dip. It's
Couldn't do
fine.
that. And she was apparently like the most powerful one there because everyone was terrified.
Everyone was
of her.
terrified of her.
Well, if you saw her performance, I'd be terrified too. She goes from 0 to
Oh my god. Which I think that was
She does give the best performance. Though, in that
right.
sense.
I think that was in the video that mysteriously didn't record. We'll talk
Our
about that in a
reaction,
second.
yes, we did record a review of that episode where Lily Rabe does surface as a character, and we were all so proud of that review.
Yes.
And I got nothing but blank screen. And
So we tried to do it in like a professional-ish studio, and obviously we're not meant to be
we're not meant to be
professional.
professional. We should just stick to basements.
Yeah.
A
So
green curtain in the basement.
That's what we get.
But I'm glad to see her as an actress come in and do her part, and I thought she adds a lot of layers to that particular episode and to the story, but I think still the dots weren't properly connected. It's not her fault as a performer.
No.
It's just the writers and with the plot holes in that sense.
And that's kind of the frustrating thing. I feel like we got so many like standout performances from individual actors.
This was
but
a
they
good
were
season for Montana for I can't think of her name. Carrie Fisher's
Billy
daughter,
Lord.
Billy Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a great season for her.
Yeah.
It was a great season for Leslie Grossman and her performance. And
Breakout for her in the series for sure.
Absolutely.
And
I'm
I
very
just
proud of that.
feel like they were like, some of them were really boxed in and didn't really have a chance. And others, I just feel like the writing was not really, like you said, the dots didn't really connect.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the most out of what we could, but
and they did such a good job those first 5 episodes developing their characters. We got a little background from Dee Dee with her dad, you know, being a murderer. We got some background on Xavier a little bit, and when his lucidius passed. We even got a little, and you kind of fall in love with Birdie a little bit, and you know, so I kind of liked the development of the characters, but then they just kind of went into 1989. And I just thought they could have done a little better job. I did like that they brought in Bobby Jingles into the looking for his some answers. I did like that aspect of it. But I think they could have done better. They didn't need that journalist that was annoying, that was trying to bust Dee Dee and Brooke. You know, it's like, why waste the time if they only had so many 3 episodes left? Why bother bringing her character in there? Why bring in Dan McDermott, you know, as the hitchhiker murderer that's now thumbless? Why even bother with that part? That was kind of it was kind of like a waste of airtime that could have been used to develop the other characters or propel all of the other characters that we already introduced to into that climactic moment of their revenge. And so I just
and I was definitely very disappointed with what they did with Ramirez, which he almost got his own like personal hell, like we saw, you know, back in Coven.
You know what? If they would have just left him in the prison, I would have been happy. They did not let him break out and revenge and keep coming back. I felt like he was like, you know, a Dungeons and Dragons wild card. You know, like, oh, let's just do anything we can because he can come back to life and turn to vapor and do this. Like, what the fuck? It was like they had a good cheat card and it wasn't properly used. You know. I'm very disappointed because I did like how they kept. You know, how I loved the part where he was caught by the people in L.A. and got his ass beat, which is what really happened in real life, and then thrown into jail. But then they just went on this all tangent with him. And, no, I'm done.
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me. I just want, you know what? If I were to rate 1984 on a meter scale, I'd put it just a slot above Roanoke, and that's bad.
But I feel like we were way up here for like it was the first half of the season, and then it was just like and it just kept dropping and dropping, and especially for me because like we talked about when the season started. I love the slasher. I love the 80s theme.
I did too.
The hopes were so high.
Yes.
So even if it fell off a little bit, it still would have been great.
We were forgiving.
But
all right, shall I let you go on your rant?
Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do Tyra?
No, just do it. Just do it.
All
do
right.
how you want to do it because it's yeah.
All right. So I'll be performing a dramatic reading. I'll be playing the part of Tyra Banks.
From America's Next Top.
Look
America's Next Top show.
I don't remember the season. Do you know what season it's from?
Oh God, no. I never
Way
even
back.
watched it. I just remember watching it.
You didn't watch America's Next Top Model?
No. I think I watched it once when Raja was a guest on there.
Gotcha.
Raja from RuPaul. It was pretty cool and gave them makeovers and some suggestions. It was pretty cool.
Gotcha.
Other than that, no. I would see bits of it, you know, especially this famous.
All right. Let me get into character. All right. Did you know that all of America was rooting for you? Did you know that? I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you learn something from this?
Yes.
Thank you.
That was terrible. I can't believe that they did that. Good job. I like
Thank
that.
you.
That was very good.
You know, it was more fiery when I practiced it right after the show, but it's been a couple weeks. I've calmed down a little bit. There's been some sexual harassment going on Survivor, some other things that have really been impactful on TV. It's been a
Okay.
rough TV month, quite honestly. All my shows are letting me down.
Well, mine haven't, because I was inspired by the 1984 theme and going back to the 80s that I started binging the original Dynasty. So,
Wow.
yeah!
Wow.
Up on season 4, and that says a lot.
Wow.
And then I feel like I got let down by Ryan Murphy and his team, but I'm with him. We were all rooting for you. So now I have like 5 more seasons of Dynasty to watch, because I'm in this wormhole. I'm stuck in this vortex. I have to finish it.
At least you got something out of it.
I got something out of it. I got something out of it. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of it, but I got something out of it.
So have we, just quickly, have we heard about next season? Themes?
I didn't, I disconnected. I didn't search for it. I know that there's some theories out there. The one thing that perturbs me is that there's a lot of people in the fandom that really praised this season. And then they said, oh, but here's some improvements. And I'm like, then that's not praising. So.
Yeah, I think it's definitely middle of the pack for me. It's not at the bottom, but it's definitely nowhere near the top. It's just kind of, it's there.
Meh. It was cute when it was had that after school special feel and the Scooby-Doo campiness. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the campiness and the blunt references to a lot of pop culture from the 80s. It was cute. I enjoyed that. But as far as the plot and the direction of some of the characters, I think they were had a little atrophy there.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
But I think we saw, some breakout, like we talked about, breakout performances.
Absolutely.
Leslie Grossman can carry pretty much a season by herself.
Yeah, she can.
Which,
Absolutely.
I don't know if we'd necessarily seen that before, but...
No, and you know what? We got to see a lot more depth from Cody Fern, instead of playing the pedantic, I am the son of Satan. We got to see him kind of rant and rave and go in a little different direction as well.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, and I think Cody Fern's gonna probably stick with this show for a while, probably. Cause
I would imagine, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, encouraged by individual performances, discouraged by the overall.
One big miss and opportunity, just Kathy Bates. Hello.
Dang.
She would have been perfect.
Hello.
This is her cup of tea.
Misery.
The cock-a-doodie car.
Dang.
It's in the cock-a-doodie car.
Mm.
Could have done it so well with her. Anyways, well, there you have it. Sorry.
Sorry to end on a downer.
On a downer, but let's be optimistic and hopefully we get a next better season. So,
Fingers crossed.
peace out, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.